because Dan Weldon, by the way, as we go on board, has already done a 210-mile-per-hour lap. The only person quicker that I see is Marco Andretti. He's picking up a toe. He's flying as Dan Weldon.
Boy, look how close Kanaan and Will Power are. Dan Weldon, not only a three-time winner here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, but he won 3 consecutive years.
You know, heads-up driver. He knows that's Will Power that he's racing with right there for contention, but he is absolutely running hard. Kanaan wants to get up there and get that position.
Ryan Hunter-Reay, he's back in 11th position right now. A lot of traffic up ahead of him as the Target Chip Ganassi drivers continue to run first and second. Good side-by-side battle back of Tony Kanaan. That would be Weldon and Briscoe.
And it shows the difference a year makes. Of course, these are slightly different tires. There goes Briscoe. He gets a little more momentum on the high side, but they're already running laps right now that were the fastest that we saw the whole race last year.
Well, we really have to keep an eye on where those speeds go, because everybody started this race on fresh sticker tires, and the first 20 laps you got a lot more grip room, but as you lose a little balance and grip, look at Will Power.
Power trying to get second from Dixon here as they race headed to turn 1.
And if Dixon stays up on that high side, he may be able to do it. No, double throttle.
See ya.
Power has, so as Power was trying to sneak up the inside there, he obviously had to get out of that throttle a little bit.
Kanaan may be saying, you boys go for the championship, I'm going to go for the race win. He is looking very, very strong here in the opening laps, falling in behind Scott Dixon in 3rd spot.
And that's what Will Power's saying, too. He's like, Tony, you get up there and start leading these laps. You take those 2 points.
10 out of 200 laps completed here at Homestead-Miami Speedway in the finale, and it has been a spectacular spark-filled start to this race here, as now Franchitti leads Dixon. And imagine going 208 miles an hour, paying attention to what's happening behind you, in front of you, and you got a face full of sparks coming off the cars in front of you. That's what the drivers have had to deal with in the opening laps, but now we see fewer and fewer sparks as the tire temperatures come up and the fuel load lessens just a little bit.
So we're going to be in for a lot more of those sparks. Oh, yeah.
Castro Neves just went by Briscoe.
And Elio is on the move. He is up to 5th position.
And we saw him coming along. But as we come back in for more stops, full up with fuel and sticker tires, we're going to get that spark pyrotechnic show again and again before the night's out.
So we've talked a lot about teammates. We've talked about working together. The odd man out there is Tony Kanaan. We didn't expect he'd be that strong this early. And I was trying to think, what about his allegiances? Remember, he and Dario are like best buds. They hang out together. So, I mean, he wants to win this race. But when it comes to it right now, he's helping Target.
There is Will Power in 4th position. Behind him
is Elio
Castroneves, then Scott Briscoe, or rather Ryan Briscoe and Dan Weldon. Lindy?
Well, we've been talking about teammates in this whole thing. Scott Dixon said beforehand about Dario, if I can help Dario with what's wrong, maybe work with traffic, I will do whatever I can. We've been hearing Chip tell Dario over the radio, hey, so-and-so's attempting to pass Will, so-and-so's attempting to pass Scott. They are really keeping tabs on what is going on out there. Teammates are really going to play a factor in this race, Robbie.
Well, watching Tony Kanaan, talking to him before the race, he's expecting a little understeer from a half tank and beyond. He told me he has the same kind of car he had at the last 3 races, a top 5 car. He said, I'm not going to drive around the outside of those red cars, but we did see him drive around the outside of the red and black cars. So he likes his car. He's expecting a little understeer from about halfway of his tank beyond, but right now he is running strong and happy about it.
First 3 cars have pulled away from 4th place by just a little bit. It's Franchitti, then Dixon, then Kanaan. This is the 11th race that Dario has led this year. Only Will Power with 14 races has led more.
I think the big difference last year, there was 3 of us involved with Ryan and certainly my teammate Scott. And so Scott and I could never really help each other out because we were both still until the last corner of the last lap in contention for that championship. This year, hopefully, you can see the Penske guys are working together. Hopefully, Scott and I can do that too.
As Jan mentioned, it's going to maybe all come down to teamwork here tonight. 4th place, Will Power. There he is. He's about 1.8 seconds behind the leader. Robbie?
I just talked to Clive Howell. I thought I heard it coming over the radio. Will Power came on the radio and said, hey, if Elio can go, let him go. So he's not trying to hold off his teammate. He wants him to take off, and hopefully he can tuck in behind him.
Power right now running by himself. And there's Clive Howell calling the shots for Will Power, trying to bring home a championship for Will in his first full season of IZOD IndyCar Series competition. 24 laps completed. Dario leads. Dario Franchitti doing what he needs to do, lead the most laps. He's led since the drop of the green flag. Right behind him, the teammate Scott Dixon, and then Tony Kanaan. Other movers, E.J. Viso from 12th to 8th, Ryan Hunter-Reay from 20th to 9th, Marco Andretti from 16th to 10th, and Sebastian Saavedra from 24th to 15th.
Now look behind, because all of a sudden Ryan Briscoe has raised his pace by 2 miles an hour. There was a big gap after these three. Briscoe is now trying to close that in. You'll just see him appearing in the picture. It was a big gap. He's closing that down.
And the leaders now are approaching, just lap cars up ahead. But Dario couldn't ask for a better scenario with Dixon, his teammate, right behind him. Because, again, right now what he's thinking is, I need to lead as many laps. But he doesn't have to worry about Dixon doing anything foolish. Dixon's just back there patting him and keeping Kanaan back. But he's not going to get up in front and take any laps away from Franchitti getting to that mark.
Now, of course, we're focusing on the championship, but other positions could change. And right now, 7 of the top 9 in points coming into this race have changed as a result of the first 32 laps. Down to Robbie Floyd.
Clive, much concern dropping through the field. How much concern are you right now with your driver of the car?
Well, obviously we don't like going backwards here, but it's kind of what we usually do at the beginning of these ovals. We'll sort it out and we'll get back there. We'll be okay.
Roger told me earlier it'd take 30 or 40 laps to sort it out. Is that really the number you're waiting for before you maybe push it?
Yeah, well, it could do. You know, we've got a bit of a handling issue right now. But, you know, as long as we stay in touch, we'll be all right. We'll sort it out.
What's that issue?
Huh?
What's the issue?
Oh, a little bit of everything.
All right, thanks a lot, Jackaroo.
Robbie, Dario Franchitti may be leading this race. He's already led 32 laps. Remember, he's going for the most laps led as well. Barry Wanzer and Chip Ganassi keep telling him on the radio, updating him as to what Will Power's position is. Lap after lap, they tell him what his speed is, and then they tell him where number 12 is.
And positions are changing quickly here. Tony Kanaan and Scott Dixon are in a great battle for second position, as Will Power is now dropped all the way back to 9th. It is about 4 seconds off the pace.
And which that creating that jockeying between Dixon and Kanaan is they just come up to those slower cars. Somebody just has to get out of the throttle a little bit as he's on the low side or someone's on the high side. And they were told in the drivers' meeting, if you're being passed by the faster group, stay on the bottom side. Is what everybody's doing.
Now for Dario, when he looks in the mirror, of course, spotters as well, and he sees green and white, that's cool. Red and white, green and white, that's all fine with me, as long as it's not Penske colors.
No question.
Race pace is about 203 miles an hour now, or depending upon how you catch traffic. But Kanaan, we have a caution. Caution is on the speedway, and this is happening on lap number 36, something that didn't happen at all in last year's race. We did not have a caution. It is Mario Marias who has stopped on the racetrack somewhere. He had come in for a pit stop while we were in commercial break, and now at the exit of turn number 2, he has stalled the car to the inside of the track near a safety station, and so we get set for our first pit stops of the evening.
And Clive Howell will be very happy about that, calling the shots for Will Power. He said they had an issue. Now they can fix it.
I was watching Will Power, and it looked as though the car was really pushing coming off of turn 4. He was using up every bit of track from the middle off of turn 4.
Pits are still closed, so the cars will not be able to enter pit lane this lap. They'll have to go one more.
We've talked about the nerves of the drivers. We've talked briefly about the nerves of the crew. When you have to make these stops under caution and everyone hits pit road at the same time, those guys right now, their heart rates on pit road are skyrocketing.
And I think for the drivers, it's the same thing. You know, when the drivers are up on the racetrack, that's their gig. That's what they do. But when you're putting yourself in other people's hands and coming down pit row and hitting your marks, you know, and as much action is going on there, I think their heart rates pump up a little.